So for more insight, we now welcome Irina Tsukerman, a national security and foreign policy analyst, joining us from New York. Irina, thank you so much for your time on this day. So reports from an anonymous American official suggest that stakeholders are edging closer to a deal, but that's something that has been verbalized many times in the past. Do you think that this Iran move to drop some demands are enough right now? Is a revival likely? What is your sense?
It's not just Iran dropping some demands, it's also U.S. making additional concessions, as has been reported recently and widely criticized by analysts from various circles, both on the left and on the right. U.S. is preparing to lift sanctions on a number of entities that are potentially tied to Iran's regional terrorism, as well as some of its key economic sectors that may have more to do with the breakthrough in the negotiation process than Iran dropping the demands. And Iran, even to this day, has not given a conclusive response to the European Union. It seems to be pushing for time, even at this stage, looking to gain as many concessions as possible, while nevertheless not cooperating on key provisions of interest to the international community.
Over and above that, there also seems to be an exchange of insults. We heard Iran accusing the Biden administration of procrastination and European negotiators of inaction. What is your sense of what's going on behind the scenes now?
This is typical Iranian negotiation strategy to insult and attack the countering party in the hopes of extracting additional concessions. In this case, Iran, however, seems to be pushing for this brinksmanship in order to gain time on its nuclear program, which has been reportedly in development despite the talks. And for Iran, it's a win-win situation because its counterparts, the Democrats, Biden supporters, look to be losing, may lose ground if they lose the elections in the House. That would undermine the key policies related to Iran, and the deal is not likely to become a congressional treaty in any case. So for Iran, wasting time while gaining as much as possible in terms of unilateral concessions is the optimal strategy in this situation.
And we know, of course, that Israel has repeatedly made its concerns very, very clear. We know that Defense Minister Benny Gantz is heading to Washington, meeting with Jake Sullivan and others in the coming days. No doubt Iran is top of the agenda. What is likely to come out of those discussions? Your thoughts of the impact of Israel's repeated call for their concerns to be heard?
In the past, Israel has been temporarily, at least, successful in getting the administration to at least not lift the sanctions from the RGC. This trip may be not so much an effort to delay or end the negotiation process, which is not likely to happen, but to, at the very least, prevent the U.S. from making concessions on some key points of concern to Israel's and global immediate security. So far, the administration seems to be concerned about making any sort of agreement possible before the midterms. They are looking for it as a win, so they're not likely to budge to most of these concerns, but perhaps some level of concessions on the most key points is possible.
Well, we certainly will be watching to see what comes out of that trip. It's happening on Thursday. Thank you so much, Irina Tsukerman, National Security and Foreign Policy Analyst, live from New York. Thanks, Irina.
Thank you so much.